Hello, it's Aubrey Shepherd on the 7th of January 2012. We've got some photos from Pebble as usual, mostly outdoors. Aha, there's Lana Sarah Sempervirens. You say, why have you had this on every month for the last 12 months? Well, because the darn thing keeps blooming every month. And there are actually four different separate blooms out there this week. And it was amazing. You know, we keep having cold weather, little snow and whatnot, and ice. Okay, here you have the frost weed or frost flowers. That's the bottom, of course, of Verbicina virginica. That's a white flowering uh, frostweed category. There are two yellow species here in our area, but they're harder to find, or at least they're not as many right close to my house. You have to look for them harder. So these have to be in exposed areas, and you can see most of these are actually mowed off or chopped down or broken off or something, and that left just the base. So that makes for some interesting photos. You see none of the stem, but you see the art that's formed from those stems. And a lot of these had some leaves over them. I had to pull away from them. Well, I didn't mean to get a blurry one in there. It's just in the sequence, and I didn't notice it in time. But anyhow, they're beautiful things, and there are some things other than Verbicina that are called frost flower, and that means they have a stemmed wing. And one of the names for these Verbicina species is wing stem. That's where the ice water comes from. Well, squirrels get in interesting places. They'll get inside your roof, on top of your roof, all the way up top of a 2.5-story house. Anything in the sun, and there's one in its natural habitat. At least the tree is natural. The background's the street area. Anyway, this now is at Martin Luther King Boulevard, and this is work that you're doing in the watershed. The stream runs between that pile of dirt and the Tanglewood, the Spout Spring branch runs between that house and that pile of dirt. That thing's parked right on it. This keeps happening, so I keep photographing it, and I want to record that it was going on, and hope that people who drive by and notice that will begin to recognize, hey, this is something I should report because it's not the right thing. And of course, we're looking at that lot I used to call the natural rain garden, and it's fuller and fuller, and the water now is standing at the upstream uphill end of that lot instead of down at the lower end where it naturally did. And that's because it can't soak in, because you see all the dirt on the surface can't suppress it, and they keep trying, piling it on, killing the tree roots with all the rocks and stuff. Anyhow, you know, this stuff just keeps going on, and I guess that's what I'm here for. Uh, that's my mission, if you like, to spot these things and try to share the information. Not that anybody's going to prison for violating the streamside ordinance that way, but simply to educate people that there is a streamside ordinance. It is designed to protect the Beaver Lake watershed, and of course the Illinois River watershed on the other part of the city. But anyhow, it's being violated daily by people who don't seem to give a hoot. And of course, there aren't enough city workers to inspect all the possible sites that might be going on. But they're right out there on the main drag in many cases, and it's obvious. Till next time, this is Aubrey Shepherd asking you to do your part to help keep the water clean, the air pure, and the woods green. And don't just think about picking up litter. Stop and tell people that you see something wrong, a violation sometimes. And actually, they may appreciate it. Thank you. Bye. Hello, I'm Aubrey Shepherd, and it's the 10th of January 2013. got a few fresh pictures from this morning and a couple from the recent past. Okay, there are the boulders out at Kessler Mountain, and the reason I'm showing those again from last month is that Frank Sharp, who owns that property and is pushing to get that area preserved as a nature preserve and possibly bought by that's his part. But okay, there's an Environmental Action Committee and some people from the University of Arkansas on a hike up there. And it's all about getting people to recognize how precious this is. It's like Buffalo River country. We'll talk about that some more in a second. Here's the inauguration night, shall we call it, for the new city council members and Mayor Lionel Jordan's ring up. And let's see, Matthew Petty will be in here, and he's starting his second term. So we've got new people. There's Mark Kenyon, but he didn't have to run this time. He'll have to run in 2 years. And there's Mr. Petty and Mr. Jordan. And you see some other folks. The city clerk, Sandra Smith, being sworn in by Judge Rudy Moore in that shot. And there's Judge Moore talking with one of the wonderful man who ran for mayor 4 years ago and didn't win, but still is very concerned about city government. Okay, there's Frank Sharp, and he's speaking to the park board last Monday night. And that little chart over at the right is some of the Kessler Mountain property that he's talking about. And he's trying to get the park board interested in trying to acquire more of this land and make part of it for nature, part of it for active sports and so forth. Okay, there's a friend of my daughter's at Wright, and her two daughters, and those young ladies I've known for so many years now, and I haven't seen them since they've been so grown up. That's the Spout Spring branch, and these are city guys, and they've got a cable you can see going down into the sewer lines, these very, very old sewer lines, and they actually can see on a television monitor what damage is done inside those lines and whether they need to be replaced. That's a TP down not far from that same spot where 5th Street crosses, or would cross if it could. It's a walking bridge as it stands. But anyhow, that's Spout Spring Branch Riparian Zone. See the cleared area. This is recently cleared. There used to be a fence where those posts are. So this is the first time I've been able to see it easily. And of course, they take out a lot of vegetation that they should not take that close to the stream. That's the idea of keeping the vegetation. Riparian ordinance is all about protecting the stream from any of this kind of material eroding into the stream or being pushed in. And there you can see that old building there that's on South College. It's actually hanging almost over the Spout Spring branch, and the branch is running from our right to left here, and there's where it comes under South College, and that's across the street. It's coming from up on Mount Sequoia edge. Anyway, it's a beautiful stream in places, but it doesn't look so good where things like this have happened to it. And we hope people in the future things like this have happened will learn to be more. And we hope people in the future will learn to be more. Or just next time, Miss Aubrey Sheridan asks you to do your part to help keep the water clean. Until next time, Miss Aubrey Sheridan asks you to do your part to help keep the water clean, the air pure, and the woods green. See you.